We have now seen the beginnings of Phase 5. Kang is here, and we've seen a version of Kang. Now this is the second version. If you've been keeping up and you watched season 1 of Loki, you've now seen that version of Kang. We saw a different version of Kang at the end of Ant-Man 3. So where are we in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? How excited are we? Because things are getting complicated. I saw this graphic floating around online. I don't know who originally created it, but I want to share it. I want to share it with you because it just sort of shows where we are and where everything is. Okay. Let's see. I had it up here. Things are getting complicated. Someone put together this montage. Here's where we are. And if you're just a casual Marvel fan, I don't know. Can a casual Marvel fan name all those heroes on that montage there? Alan, can you? You're a super fan, right?
Yeah. What are you asking me again?
I'm
Sorry.
asking you, can you name all of the characters on this little
I believe
graphic?
in this particular graphic, I believe I could. Yes.
You could definitely do that.
I could definitely name, I would say 90% of the characters.
All right, I'm going to zoom in a little bit because I want you to see. All right, so, okay.
Like there's several Iron Mans there.
All right.
With
Okay. Yeah.
Warmonger or Killmonger, sorry.
It's just,
There's
I
there's
feel like
oh,
we've
go
now
ahead.
gotten to just ridiculous extremes.
Yeah.
It's getting a little ridiculous with the just number of characters and just so this is where I think that what possibly I foresee happening, and I think we'll see it with the box office, the second weekend box office of Ant-Man, is that normies are going to be lost. I think if you just went into Ant-Man for fun, you probably had an okay time. But if you were really paying attention to the plot, I believe it kind of falls apart, you know, falls apart for me. I want to hear what your thoughts are, Alan. What are the movies you're looking forward to for Phase 5? Next up, we have Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and the Marvels on November 10th. They just moved the date. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
I'm looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm very excited about Guardians of the Galaxy because I think that's a good ending to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that we'll have good feelings about a group of characters that we've loved over the years, their wacky adventures, and as you know, the Guardians of the Galaxy are coming to an end, and with that will come the end of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I'm excited about it, and looking forward to new things beyond that. New things. Who knows? Maybe the gun DCEU. Maybe we'll fly into that. But yeah, I'm looking at all the Phase 5s. The Marvel comes next.
Could you share a screen for? Do you
Yeah.
have like a Phase 5
Well, I'll
graphic?
just say it because I think there's only 3 movies after that next year. Captain America: New World Order,
Okay,
Thunderbolts,
don't care.
and Blade, and maybe yeah, but there's no good buzz coming out of any of those 3 films.
Yeah, so beyond Guardians 3, Marvel has what I would describe as a very weak slate.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at some statistics. This turned up on, I don't know if you can see that graphic. This turned up from a guy named Zach Bouders, who I follow on Twitter. He did a little thing, a little data graphic. I love infographics. I'm like a huge fan of infographics. I don't know. I just like them. I just think that they're cool. So he compiled some let me zoom in so you can see it a little bit better. Maybe for those of you that are watching the show, I know a lot of people listen to the show, but let me zoom in for a bit. And I'll read this. The state of the MCU between Phase 1, 2008 to Phase 4, 2022, Marvel Studios has released 30 MCU films, grossing a combined $28.3 billion at the box office, netting, although I would argue this figure, netting $21.8 billion. More statistics from this thread. Phase 3 not only brought in the most box office and had the highest number of films at 11, but also had a greater ROI, return on investment, with Marvel Studios making 5.2 million for every dollar spent. Phases 1, 2, and 4 each averaged less than $4. Let's take a look at that graphic. I don't know if you can see that on screen.
Slightly.
Pretty interesting. So it's comparing the phases of the different phases 1, 2, 3, and 4. Phase 3 made the most money, right? And you look at was a slow build. Phase 4, that's a drop. I don't other than Guardians 3, which is I believe Guardians 3 is going to sunset those characters. I mean, they may turn up in an Avengers movie, who knows? But I really believe after James Gunn's involvement with Marvel, when that ends, I think that those characters will also end. It doesn't mean they're still not going to be in the theme parks or they'll have a theme park ride, but I think those characters are kind of done after that. This is when you look at the combined, box office for those phases. And phase 3, you have to admit, like, it did have the most. It was the two biggest movies, Infinity War and Endgame. So those figures should not surprise you. Let's continue down with some of these numbers. Zach goes on, at a per film level, we see that phase 3 has the most films with above average profit ratios. What's masked at a phase level, though, is what a smash success Spider-Man No Way Home is, with the single highest profit ratio of $9.6 back for every dollar spent. Now, he's using this chart, and he's also getting this stuff from Wikipedia. So hopefully this information is sourced.
Hopefully we're close.
We're close, but looking at these movies, phase 1, 2, 3, and 4, it's very interesting when you look at the ROI and where things are going. Now, none of the first 3 phases of Marvel were burdened by competing with television shows or having the necessity of a TV show be required viewing in order to understand the context of a movie. So I think that that's going to hurt Marvel going forward. And I want to hear your thoughts as we go through these charts. Zach goes on, based on the profitability of Spider-Man No Way Home, let's view things by character franchise. Spider-Man is the single most profitable franchise in the MCU, 7.2 ratio, followed by Captain Marvel with a single film so far. The Avengers, 5.4 ratio, Black Panther, Iron Man, etc. So check it out. This is by franchise. Now, Captain Marvel admittedly had the one movie. Okay. So I don't know that that's a really fair. I think that you might want to include only characters that have had more than one film. Okay. But here we are. So you got Spider-Man, 3.93 billion at the box office, Captain Marvel, 1.13 billion. Remember, sandwiched between Infinity War and Endgame, the Avengers franchise being the top of all of them at 7.77 billion. So wow, 4 Avengers movies and you've got almost $8 billion. So that's interesting to look at it by franchise. It basically starts with Spider-Man. Here's top to bottom: Spider-Man, Captain Marvel, Avengers, Black Panther, Iron Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, Doctor Strange, Captain America, Thor, Ant-Man, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Black Widow, and Hulk. There you go. Continuing on. Do you have any questions or comments on all this?
I mean, who are the most successful ones? It's the OG. It's the iconic Marvel characters.
Well,
so far Spider-Man is left.
Right, but I mean, Captain Marvel throws that off. I don't know if that's fair, only because there's only.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real about Captain Marvel. It was wedged in between 2 Avengers movies, and it was must viewing. In the sense of to get it was pivotal to Endgame, quote unquote. So it got a boost that way. No other film has that kind of boost, has that kind of need that you have to see it in order to get the full Avengers experience at that point.
Okay, and going on, it's almost over. These top 5 franchises by profit ratio show us that while Avengers bring in viewers, Marvel Studios doesn't have to spend billions to make billions. Single character franchises with lighter budgets can earn significantly without the risk and expense of mega blockbusters. So this is the chart proving the premise based on numbers from Wikipedia, which I might argue And then he sort of ends it with little Tom Holland's with Robert Downey, and this is what Zach Bouters, and thank you, Zach, for I'm just sharing this. It's on your public Twitter. He says, with Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man shelved, Black Panther's star passed on, many of the key Avengers retired, and Captain Marvel's team-up sequel delayed, it looks like an opportune time for Marvel to look to Tom Holland's Spider-Man for leadership. That's what he says. I don't know if I 100% agree with that, but there you go. So what are your thoughts, Alan, on all of this? What do you think of these numbers? I think my thing is, and especially when you look at everyone's only people are only talking about the Marvels moving to the fall, which I think is smart. We haven't seen a trailer from it. My understanding is there have been multiple reshoots for that film.
Yeah.
But
I'm guessing now that what I saw at D23 will no longer be there. Will no longer be.
No, I don't think that's going to be it. But I think that I really believe the TV shows have hurt Marvel as a brand. I think that there is such a thing as too much of a good thing. And that's what we're seeing with these numbers. And look, the story's not over for Ant-Man. Second weekend is really going to tell the story. I kind of knew it would be like that the third Ant-Man movie, based on the spectacle, based on Kang, etc., that it would be, it would be big for Ant-Man. But I still think you're looking at diminishing returns when it comes to Marvel as an overall brand. Let's look at some of any final comments before we.
Yeah, I don't think it's the TV series that did it. It's just bad writing. It's people who don't. It's two things. A, people who don't understand comic books, probably never read comic books. They just think they know how to tell an action story. And two, I hate the term MCU, but there's some validity to it in the sense of, Disney bought Marvel because Disney princesses appealed to girls, Marvel superheroes appealed to boys, and that was a way to bring in another set of dollars, another revenue stream. And it seems like for some reason they just they don't care about boys anymore, and they're shifting, they're shifting too far to the extreme on one end. We could claim, yeah, it was all men at the beginning, but now it feels like we're shifting to the other extreme when we need to really find that balance. And so I think the real problem is the leadership. No one at the top is insisting that we study why people like these things in the past and bring it into the movies today, like they did in phases 1 through 3.
I just think the streaming shows there, I don't think there's been one that's been a hit. There have been more complaints than praise heaped upon the streaming shows. And I don't want to have to watch the TV shows to understand what's happening in the universe. And I think those that gasped, at the end of Ant-Man 3 might have been one. They're either two. They're gasping because they're confused. What's Loki doing there? Didn't he die? Or they're gasping because, season 2 Loki promo. But I don't know. Here's someone with some thoughts.
Listen, Jinx, here's the deal. If you know anything about me, and clearly you don't, the last thing I am is a simp / shill. The last thing. Anything that I put my name to in a review is going to be, I believe, 120% that this film is entertaining. It delivers what you want out of it.
Oh, listen, just one more thing.
All right, that was, of course, our
You're
friend.
lucky Eric doesn't watch the stream.
He never watches. I watch Eric all the time.
I know,
but he doesn't watch the stream. That's Eric Weber at Midnight Movie Talk. Shout out to him. He's got a good sense of humor. Subscribe to his show. Any case, look, I'll just tell you something, and this is anecdotal. I was at Target this morning picking up some groceries, and what did I see? Lots and lots of Wakanda Forever toys sitting there, and a lot of toys. They're all marked down, folks. Here's the thing that really struck me. There are no stakes anymore. We know there are going to be more Marvel movies, right? There are no stakes in the sense that we know Kang is not going to be ultimately defeated. Well, this version of Kang. So how do they ultimately resolve that? I think maybe they would have been better off doing Secret Wars, or even like with the Skrulls, right? Like, or like I just think a Skrull, like who is a Skrull, who isn't a Skrull, who has been a Skrull all along. Maybe someone that we knew was a Skrull, between a certain period of time that would kind of back us into phase 1, 2, and 3. Like, oh, this person was a Skrull all along. It's this or something. It would have been so cool. But I think a multiverse story is just not. And also, it's just is I think it's confusing to audiences that aren't longtime comic book fans, because we've seen better multiverse stories. For example, Crisis on Infinite Earths, when they did it the first time back in the 80s. I think, haven't they done it again? And then they did that show. There was the CW kind of attempted to do it, and I watched a trailer for it, and it just looked like a fan film to me.
Like a multiverse show?
No, Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Oh,
they
okay.
did
Yeah,
on the
right.
CW. It what I saw of it was like, okay, that's kind of, nah, I'm good. But the thing that I think is really missing is a level of seriousness, that the events matter. Now, I don't think Ant-Man as a character has ever been much of a serious character. Ant-Man's always been like comic relief side character, perfect in that role. But if you're going to introduce Kang, maybe this was not, maybe what I liked about the way they introduced Thanos is he was in the shadows. He was the pulling the strings. He was the puppeteer behind the scenes. I like that aspect. I don't like an aspect of, well, this Kang is, weak, and this Kang is kind of like this, and this Kang is dressed like Steve Martin doing the King Tut song. No one remembers that reference. No one remembers the King Tut song that Steve Martin did.
The Grammy Award winning song.
The Grammy Award winning Steve Martin. Read his autobiography, Born on the Stage, a great book.
Mhm.
Yeah, our genuine, my first exposure to Ant-Man was Garrett Morris on SNL. So I think the thing that's missing with, thank you for your comment, our genuine. I think the thing that's missing is seriousness.
Mhm.
There was the early phase 1, 2, and 3 balanced seriousness with comedy. As soon as Guardians of the Galaxy came in, they leaned way too much into comedy, where certain characters, you can have comedic moments, you can have moments of lightness, but I kind of think it's a mistake to lose the level of seriousness. I think Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne probably should have died in Ant-Man 3. There should have been stakes. There should have been some cost for it. It would have ended on a downer, or maybe they could have sacrificed themselves. Maybe they're trapped in the quantum realm. They'll come back.
Yeah, I think the better solution was that Scott and Hope were stuck in the quantum realm, and they don't appear again until Avengers Kang Dynasty.
Well, they wanted to end on a happy note, and that's what they did. And
I know, but
there you go. But
interesting storytelling. That's what we want, and they're not giving that to us.
well, the thing that's missing is serious stakes.
Yeah.
That's the thing that is absolutely missing right
Even
now.
Thor was serious.
Yeah,
it didn't get wacky until Taika Waititi took over.
Correct.
I mean, if you look at it, phase 1 through 3, everything was serious except space, which was Guardians of the Galaxy. And so I think you could claim space as this weird, wacky kind of realm to be in. But the thing is everything else was deadly serious, and that's what made Guardians of the Galaxy such a refreshing alternative to what we were getting at that time.
Now, we've got over 800 people watching live. We appreciate it. We have other topics for today, and I'm going to ask the chat what they would they like to continue our discussion of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I do have a rant that'll be at the end. Or do we talk about Picard episode 1 or the recent episodes of Last of Us? Would we like Alan to review an indie movie called Keeping Secrets?
Yes, and let me just say, Keeping Secrets, strippers and serial killers. I'll just leave it at that.
All right, but I think the thing that we're all, this was mentioned in almost, even in the positive reviews of Ant-Man and the Wasp, even the positive reviews have said that there is real Marvel fatigue. I mean, I just hear it from like regular people who like to go to movies, because going to the movies was a thing. And is Marvel fatigue real? I believe it is. Alan?
I definitely felt it in Ant-Man 3. And a lot of it had to do with the heavy CGI. Because basically throwing Ant-Man into a world that doesn't exist and a world we can't relate to, and it was so CGI heavy that I just grew tired of. I grew bored and tired halfway through the movie.
Gotcha. Well, Alan, have you seen the new Picard?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Well, we could wait until Friday and talk about the first
Well,
two
it
episodes.
seems like the chat is saying Picard.
Picard?
Yes.
Well, they say indie movie. Let's do a quick indie movie review.
Yeah.
We're gonna pivot. Just stick with us. We got a lot to talk about.
Partly
with
so we
us
can
here.
get rid of that one
And
photo.
I have a rant related to the Marvel Cinematic Universe that you're not going to believe.